Golden State Media Concepts presents the GSMC Classics series with episodes of some of your favorites from a day gone by, a time gone by. Join us as we time travel to some of your classic favorites from yesteryear. The GSMC Podcast Network invites you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the GSMC Classics series on the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network.
Buck Rogers in the 25th century. And the shower of silver dollars from Popsicle Pete's money box. Buck Rogers, who was held in suspended animation for 500 years and is now adventuring in the amazing world of the 25th century. By turning a little dial to project us ahead in time, we're able to be right with Buck and his friends in the wonderful world of the future. A world that sees a lot of our scientific and mechanical dreams come true. And you know, there's nothing supernatural or mystic about Buck. He's just an ordinary, normal human being who keeps his wits about him. But he certainly manages to get into one thrilling adventure after another. Right now, he and Wilma and Dr. Hewer are getting ready to start on an expedition toward the center of the Earth in a huge machine called the Mechanical Mole. They're standing beside it on the landing field of the great municipal spaceport in Niagara, capital of 25th century America. Let's join them. Here we go, 500 years into the future. What's holding us up, Dr. Hewer? I thought we were going to get started on our trip underground just as soon as we got out here.
Sergeant Karlborg is bringing some weapons and scientific equipment over from the main rocket ship hangar.
Weapons?
Yes, Doctor. What possible use for weapons can we have deep under the earth?
Well, you never can tell. We've got to be prepared for everything. Karlborg is also bringing instruments that will enable us to analyze whatever sort of ground we run into down there. Also, a gas analyzer.
What's that for?
I should be at all surprised if we'd run into some great open spaces miles below. Gas or air pockets.
Gas pockets, anyway. Sources for the natural gas we use here on the surface.
Exactly.
I see. But now explain this machine to me, will you? All I can tell from seeing it here is that it looks like a huge metal sausage.
Well, it's made of flexo-impervium, Wilma, the toughest flexible metal known.
But how does it work? How does it dig its way into the ground?
It melts its way down, Wilma, with the help of a thermic radiation projector. The heat from it will liquefy anything in its path. Rock, stones, gravel, almost instantaneously.
Some heat.
Yes. The banks of non-recoil energy projectors that are spaced all around the outside of the house will push the mold forward through the melted ground.
Will we be able to see anything through the big metallo-glass windows there in front?
Oh, yes, indeed.
And are they really thick enough?
Well, there won't be much strain on them, Wilma, because the force rays will keep pushing the melted dirt away from them all the time.
Oh. Well, now how about getting into the control cabin so I can see how to operate it?
All right. Notice that this metal door arrangement is rather complicated in order to permit entrance through 3 separate hulls. Here now. There.
Why 3 hulls, Doctor?
For protection against the extreme temperatures we may encounter.
Right. Doctor, didn't you say that the temperature will increase about 1 degree for every 53 feet we go down?
Yes, that's the generally accepted figure.
Uh-huh.
One of the many things we'll be able to check on.
There isn't much room in this control cabin. Seems to me that in a machine 50 or 60 feet long...
Power units for the non-recoil energy projectors and thermic radiation projectors.
Huh?
Complete air conditioning and pressure equalizing system. Storage cabinets for all the scientific equipment. They all take a lot of room, Wilma.
Oh, sure. But now, why these straps on the control seat?
To enable us to stay in them regardless of the angle at which we're ascending or descending.
And pressure suits. What do we ever use these for?
Exploring any open spaces there may be down below.
Note the instrument panel here, Wilma.
Uh-huh.
Pressure gauge, depth gauge, temperature, size. Yes?
Got the other equipment, Carl Borg?
Yes, sir. Right here, sir.
Oh, good.
Listen.
What's the matter?
Spy. My men just caught a spy over there by the main hangar.
What's this?
He has a telemagnetic recorder.
You mean one of those cameras for recording pictures on a sensitized wire?
Yes, sir.
Well, who is he? What's he look like?
Well, he looks just like a perfectly respectable Martian tourist, Captain.
A Martian?
But he wouldn't say why he was so anxious to take pictures, so I have the boys hold on to it.
Why, that old rascal Black Barney.
Barney? What's he got to do with it?
Did you tell her about that, Buck?
No, I guess it slipped my mind.
Well, then tell me now.
Well, Dr. Hewer first got to thinking about this mechanical mole up on Jupiter, where Barney helped us capture Cain and Ardela.
Yeah?
And he told Barney about his plan.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know Black Barney.
He decided he'd have to build one, too.
Right. Told Dr. Hewer that the minute he got back to Mars, he'd begin construction of it. Provided Dr. Hewer would tell him how to get started with it.
No, I just joshed him a little, Wilma. I told him that if he wanted to know how I was going to build the mole, he'd have to find out himself. And that I'd do everything possible to keep him from finding out.
Then he sent the man with the camera.
Sure, and he isn't the first spy who's been around.
Well, I wonder if Barney's making any progress with his mechanical mole.
Oh, apparently, yes. Our president attended a meeting of the Council on Interplanetary Affairs there on Mars not long ago, and Barney said he was not only building the biggest and most powerful mole in the universe, but that he'd have it in operation before we'd finish with this.
Good old Barney. Leave it to him.
Yes.
Well, then, I guess this spy ain't as serious as I thought.
Look, I'll tell you what you do, Carl.
Yes, Captain.
Do you still have that little dog of yours, the one you call Tag-Along?
I sure do, Captain. Why, he's the finest mixed-breed thoroughbred.
Well, where is this Martian camera?
Why, right in my office at the main rocket ship hangar.
Well, then, you get hold of your dog and expose the whole reel of sensitized wire in the camera on Tag-Along digging holes in the ground.
You mean it, sir?
Yeah. Then send the man and his camera back to Mars.
Okay, Captain, whatever you say.
If Barney wants pictures of a mechanical mole, we'll see that he gets them.
That's terrific.
Well, now, let's close this metal door. These metal doors and get underway.
All right. Sergeant, we'll be in touch with you by radio from time to time. And please radio the president's office that we've started.
Yes, sir, Doctor. And be careful way down there, will you, please?
Careful?
Yes, sir. You folks are starting out in this contraption just as calm as if you were flying a rocket ship out into space.
Well.
But I'd be sort of scared.
Oh, what's there to be scared about, Carl Borg?
I don't know, but be careful anyways, will you, please?
Yes, we will. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Carl Borg.
Bye, Carl Borg. Now, travel on the surface, of course, we just use the power of the non-recoil energy projector, like this.
Say, we're moving right along.
Yes, sir. There's plenty of power in this thing.
Well, we'll need it when we start going down into the ground. Suppose I turn on the thermic radiation projector and head us down at about a 20-degree angle.
Okay by me.
Me too.
Well, then here we go.
Boy, that heat ray really does the job.
Just say so.
Turns the ground into a boiling liquid.
I bet the heat from it can be felt for hundreds of feet around.
What?
I bet the heat from it can be felt for hundreds of feet around.
What did you say?
I said it's hot out there.
Lady, you certainly have a powerful pair. Hey, wait, Doctor.
I just cut off the power box. And you see this gauge? We're down over 100 feet.
What's that noise?
Sounds like steam blowing off. Something wrong in the power compartment?
No, Wilma. We've run into a stratum of water sand, that's all.
Oh.
The heat rays turn the water into steam.
No telling what we may run into down here, is there? No.
It's really kind of risky, isn't it?
Rather go back and let Dr. Hewer and me finish the trip?
Not on your life.
Well, here we go again. Now, somewhere down here, according to soundings taken on the surface,
Yeah.
there's a deep... Look through the metalloglass window.
Yes, Doctor?
The color of the melted stuff out there indicates we're right in the middle of it now.
In the middle of what, sir?
A deep layer of solid granite.
We're going through solid granite.
That's right, Wilma. And with no effort at all.
No, sir, Doctor.
What?
According to this gauge here, we're stopped. Stopped? Yes, sir. We haven't moved for the last 10 or 15 seconds.
Now, wait a minute.
Don't you see, Doctor?
Oh, you're right, Buck. We didn't move an inch.
Then back us out, Doctor. Back us up to the surface again.
I can't, Wilma. This machine can't move backwards.
What?
But I don't understand why a little granite should hold us this way.
When we turned off the heat ray, Doctor, it solidified around our hull.
Yes, you're right.
Well, can we get free again?
Give that heat ray all she'll take, Doctor.
Yes.
More heat. We haven't begun to move yet.
There now. It's on full.
Direct the heat back alongside our hull.
Yes, Buck. There now.
Still not moving.
There we are. Now we're moving again.
Oh, thank goodness for that.
You see, it was necessary to melt down all the granite that had solidified around our hull.
Well, I hope that doesn't happen again. I don't mind telling you I was worried for a minute then.
Well, we're moving along now, all right. Really making time.
Yes. I doubt, Wilma, if we'll run into any straighter as hard as that again.
I hope not. How far down are we now?
Must be several hundred feet, Wilma.
Sure, because we're certainly traveling. Ground down here must be sort of loosely put together.
Perhaps we're in an air pocket of some sort. The depth gauge
Say,
says.
look,
Yes?
the heat ray usually shows red out there. Now there are a lot of little bluish puffs of flame.
If Buck's right, they shoot out like long blue ribbons. Air pocket, did you say?
Oh, sir, we're running into a gas pocket.
Gas.
Why, yes.
But what if it all catches fire?
Sir, if there's oxygen present down
The
here.
heat ray will be like a match inside a big gas tank.
You're right.
Look, blue flames all around us.
Gas pocket's going to explode.
Good heavens.
Look!
Here it comes. Say, that sounds pretty bad. The heat from the thermic radiation projectors made that gas pocket they ran into explode. They're deep, deep underground, beyond the reach of help. But now stand by for a few words from your favorite announcer, and then we'll rejoin Buck and his friends. Now let's get back to the world of the future. When Buck, Wilma, and Dr. Hewer started on their expedition underground in the mechanical mole, Sergeant Carborg, following orders and having no idea what might happen down there, went back to the main rocket ship hangar to contact the president's office by radio. It's there that we find him now as we turn the dial that'll project us ahead in time. Here we go, 500 years into the future.
Central Radio Bureau. Sergeant Carlberg calling Central Radio Bureau.
Central Radio Bureau, Stratton speaking.
Now listen, Stratton. I've got to get an important message through to the office of the president.
Yes?
Captain Rogers and Lieutenant Wilmer and Dr. Hewer have just took off on their expedition under the ground in the mechanical mole. Ain't that something?
Yes, it certainly is. Did it sort of sudden, didn't they?
Well, they didn't want a lot of people around who might have gotten burned by the big heat ray in the nose of that machine.
Oh, I see. Well, I'll get that message.
And you know, they took off in that big machine just as calm and collected as if it was nothing at all.
Well, that's the way those folks are. I better get that message.
Oh!
Hey, what was that?
I don't know. It knocked me right off my chair onto the floor. Some incoming rocket ship must have banged into the side of this hangar.
Oh, there it goes again.
I'll go out and see where it is. I'll call you back and tell you.
No, wait a minute.
But maybe a ship was cracked up out there.
But if that's all it was, why should I feel it over here? I'm miles away from that spaceport of yours.
You mean you felt it too?
Well, like an earthquake. This whole building shook.
No. Listen. Stratton.
Yeah? What's the matter? Municipal spaceport? Calling municipal spaceport. Carborg!
It's municipal spaceport. Yeah, Carlberg.
Central Scientific Bureau speaking. Our seismographs have just registered a tremendous subterranean explosion.
I knew it.
Approximately 2 miles under the surface of your main landing field. Hello?
Captain Rogers.
Hello?
Calling Captain
Sergeant
Rogers
McGraw?
in mechanical mole.
Hello,
Calling
Callboard.
Captain Rogers.
Callboard.
Dr. Hewer.
Hello, Scientific Bureau.
Listen,
Hello?
Rogers.
This is Stratton, the Center Radio Bureau.
Answer me, will
Yes?
you?
Dr. Hewer's mechanical mole is down there. What? The mechanical mole? Something must have happened to it. Good heavens. Is there any way of contacting it down there? Is it radio equipped? Oh, Callboard's trying to get them now. Can you hear him? Callboard. Sergeant Callboard.
After we can see what's happened. It's down there under the ground, and the mechanical mole is blown up with that inside of it.
Callboard. Did they take a straight course down into the ground?
I don't know what they did. It's too late to save them now. They're killed. This is horrible. This is horrible. I should never let them get down there. An awful machine. It's a death machine. That's what it is.
Yes, sir. There's only one way to reach that mechanical mole, or what's left of it, with a long-range disintegrator. Disintegrator? Yes, by blasting away a long shaft straight into the ground. But the sides of a shaft that deep will cave in. Call out the Rocket Fleet Emergency Squad. Have them circle the area we're going to disintegrate in order to hold back the sides of it with long-range, non-recoil energy projectors. Okay. I'll take care of notifying the President's office of what's happened from here. Yes, sir. Now go to it. No. Wait. Yes? Order an interplanetary transport ship made ready and equipped with the most powerful gravity ray available. To pull them all up to the surface when you got a shaft down to it, eh? That's right. Now, get going. Right, sir. Callboard.
Yes,
Sergeant
Callboard
Callboard.
speaking.
Have
Yes.
your ground crew erect standard framework number 3X5 directly above the spot where the mechanical mole descended immediately.
Oh, what's the use of that? That's a disintegrator framework.
The only possible chance we have of reaching the people trapped in that machine down there is by disintegrating our way down to them.
It's too late.
What?
It exploded within minutes. It's too late.
Do as I tell you. The sooner we can get that giant disintegrator going, the better our chance of saving them.
Saving them. It's too late. I tell you, they're lost. They're lost down there. It's too late. All right, now. Turn that disintegrator off.
Stop disintegrator!
Rogers in the 25th century. And the shower of silver dollars from Popsicle Keith's Money Box.
Buck Rogers in the 25th century, with its prophecy of all the wonderful things that may occur 500 years from now. Do you ever give any really serious thought to the scientific and mechanical developments of the future? Well, just keep listening to Buck Rogers and you'll have a pretty good idea of many of the things that are within the realm of scientific possibility. Now, our story so far has taken Buck and Wilma and Dr. Hewer to the city of Ore, deep, deep under the earth, a city abounding in pure gold and radium. As we join our friends now, we find them all ready to start back to the surface to report their amazing discovery to the government at Niagara, capital of 25th century America. Now, here we go, 500 years into the future.
Well, folks, how about getting started on the trip home?
Right, Wilma. The sooner we get started, the better. Come on, Dr. Hewer. Let's pile into the mechanical mole.
No, wait, Buck. Gareth is bringing samples of gold and radium to take back with us.
Yes, Doctor. I don't know what's detaining him. Incidentally, my friend,
Yes, now, but
this mechanical mole is a very wonderful machine. Just how does it burrow its way through the ground, Dr. Hewer?
now, but the giant heat ray in the nose melts away the ground, and the force rays along the sides push it ahead.
Very ingenious.
Then look at the hundreds of people gathered at the other end of this great cavern,
Why, yes.
evidently working like Trojans over something or other.
Yeah, you're right. Too far away, though, to see what they're doing.
Look, here comes our friend Gareth.
apparently alarmed about something.
Well, I hope nothing's wrong.
No, but don't let our friends leave us.
Something is wrong. Gareth, what is it?
Lieutenant Wilmer, Dr. Hewitt.
What's the trouble?
Please, kind people, stay and help us. Norbert, to the supply source.
Supply source.
What is it, Gareth?
A terrible catastrophe has occurred.
What?
Our entire city may be swept away unless you can help us.
What?
The warning came to me while I was obtaining samples of our gold and radium for you to take back with you.
Warning of what, Gareth?
It is something we have feared for a long time, and although we tried to make adequate provisions against the day it might occur, I fear for the safety of my people.
Well, now, wait a minute.
See them there at the end of the cavern. They're struggling against forces the power of which they cannot comprehend. The life of every one of them is in danger, but still they try to hold it back.
Oh, hold what back, Gareth?
The water, Doctor. Unless the source of our limitless water supply can be stopped up, the entire city of Orr will be flooded.
Oh, why didn't you say so? Here, hop into this mechanical mold. We'll go over and see what it's all about.
But can you help us? Can you keep the angry waters from filling up this great cavern in which we live?
Well, that remains to be seen, Gareth.
Right. Get into the mole now.
No.
Huh?
You'll be protected from the flood in this wonderful machine of yours. I can't be. I mustn't leave my people.
Gareth.
Don't you see, Buck?
Gareth.
Yes?
Now, you're all excited. Calm down and get in here so I can close the metal door.
But don't you see?
Quickly. If we're going to be of help to you, we can't waste time.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's better. Here now.
Sit right here in this control suite.
On the way over, you can tell us what caused this unexpected trouble.
Here we go.
Oh, I hope we can get there in time to save our city.
Well, now tell us all you can about it, so we'll know what needs to be done when we get there.
Yes, Dr. Hewitt. You must pardon me for being so upset, but news of the impending calamity has shaken me beyond words.
Yes, well...
Our water supply comes by seepage through a wall of porous rock, there at the end of the cavern.
Yes.
Any excess was always taken care of by simply allowing it to run down into the ant country through the tunnel system you followed to come here.
But now?
Now, however, the outlet tunnel has become stopped up. The water is no longer draining away.
You know why, don't you? When we followed those tunnels, we used the heat ray on this mold. And then the melted ground settled back and solidified and blocked the tunnels after we passed through.
Oh, why did you do that, Buck? Why did you block up the only outlet for the water that can so easily fill up this entire cavern?
Oh, we didn't know it was part of your drainage system, Gareth.
No. Of course we didn't. I'm very sorry. But now look ahead.
Yes?
How ineffectually my poor people are attempting to block up the source of the flood.
Now, Gareth, well, I'm surprised at you.
Why do you say that, Doctor?
Why, there isn't much water seeping through that rock formation. Well, why all this excitement?
It's so much more than usual.
And the channels that carry the water down the streets and into your reservoirs, they're far from overflowing.
But they will overflow, and we can't afford to let the water collect in this cavern.
What's the matter, Buck?
See how the mist around here is clouding up the outside of our metallic glass window?
Yes, Buck. That in itself illustrates the grave danger we're in.
Well, how do you mean?
Well, unless the water is permitted to run freely away and down into the ground, the heat that permeates our atmosphere turns it into a heavy mist.
Yeah?
Soon the air will become saturated with moisture. It will disable our atomic power plants and render our radium lighting system useless.
Oh,
Worst of all, it will reach our chemical supplies and liberate deadly gases.
Oh.
Helpless and in total darkness, we'll be able to do nothing but wait for the poison to completely fill our city.
But that would take days, Gareth. Weeks, perhaps. Why so excited and scared about it all of a sudden?
It is the one thing against which we have never been able to provide adequate protection.
Oh, I see.
Oh, but please, while we talk, the atmosphere becomes heavier and heavier with the dreadful moisture. The efforts of my people to stop the water seepage becomes more and more fruitless. Don't you see? Even now, some of them falter and drop down where they're standing.
I can't see very well because of the wetness on these metallic glass... Gareth,
Yes, Buck.
can it be the poison gas you mentioned that is making those people drop in their tracks out there?
Yes, Buck. Please do something to help me.
Yes, we must act immediately.
What can we do?
Open the door and let me out again. If my people suffer, I must suffer with them.
No. What?
What are you going to do, Buck?
Turn on the non-recoil energy projector and aim it straight at the water rock.
Wait, then.
Yes, sir?
There'll be people in the way. If you turn on the non-recoil energy, you crush them against those rocks.
Well, Gareth can warn them to get out of the way.
Yes.
Or better still, I can use just a little of the non-recoil energy and push them out of harm's way.
We'll do both. Gareth, you go out there and tell them to get away from that rock formation.
If they're still able to do so. Do you see? Most of them have fallen.
Phew, I should think they would.
Poison gas is right.
And we thought there was no need to hurry.
I'm going to warn my people.
But the gas will get you, too, Gareth.
No matter. If my people fall like...
Gareth, come back.
Close the door, Doctor, quick.
Oh.
Yes,
No, don't do it, Doctor.
What?
If you don't, that gas will get us, too. The only way I can see to aim this non-recoil energy projector. This window's too clouded up.
But, Buck.
Here it goes.
That's it. But are you sure you're aiming it straight at the rock for me?
Yes, sir. It clears its own path through the mist.
Then can't you close the doors again? This gas is terrible.
Yeah, we can now. Now, Wilma,
Yes, Buck?
get into a pressure suit quickly.
Pressure suit? What for?
I want you to hold back the water seepage with a hand-sized force ray while we take this mechanical mold to the other side of the cavern. We'll blast away an outlet tunnel.
Okay, Buck.
Hurry now.
Okay. Thank goodness the air is getting better in here with the door closed.
It's getting worse for the folks out there. Funny about that gas, though.
Here, Wilma. Let me help you put on the helmet of that pressure suit.
Thanks. And I'll snap the clamps of it inside and turn on the midget radio equipment so we can talk.
Here it goes now, right over your head. Doc, will you turn on the radio so we can communicate with her?
Sure, Doctor. There you are.
Hear me now, Wilma?
Yes, Doctor. I'm going on out.
Here, Wilma. Don't forget this hand force ray.
Thanks, Buck.
Go ahead now, Wilma.
Right.
And stay there until we get back. Gas.
Okay, Buck.
Gas is awful.
Yeah, I hope we can clear the atmosphere before it's too late for some of those people out there.
I've got my force ray on out here.
Good, Wilma. I can turn off the one here on the mold.
No, Buck.
Huh?
No, turn it up high and steer us to the other end of this cavern.
Right, sir. We're on our way.
Use all the power you can. We mustn't waste any time.
Yes, sir. Managing to hold back that water all right, Wilma?
Yes, Buck. It's terrible to see all these people lying around out here.
We're doing all we can to save them.
Well, hurry.
Can you see your way ahead all right, Buck?
Not very well, but well enough to get us to the other end of this huge cavern.
Now, turn on a bit of the thermic radiation projector to clear the metalloglass window.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's it. Now, more power. Every minute it takes to get over there lets the gas in this place get thicker.
We're going as fast as we can. Say, you know something, Doctor?
What, Buck?
That gas has something very funny about it.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I fail utterly to see anything funny about a gas that can do what this has done to the people of Ore. I only hope that whatever it is won't be fatal to all of them.
No, it's like something I've smelled before. Something familiar about it. I don't know what it is, but I can't seem to be as worried about it as I should be.
Buck,
Yes, Wilma?
this gas may be poisonous, as Garrett said. But to me, these people out here look just to be quietly asleep.
Well, keep that force ray holding the water back until we blast out some drainage tunnels. Then we'll ride back and pick you up.
Okay.
You hear that, Doctor?
Yes.
Complicated matters.
What do you mean?
Well, I smelled that gas before. Maybe a long, long time ago, but somewhere.
Now, listen, Buck. This is
I know you think I'm crazy, sir, but there's something about it that just...
Stop us. We're at the end of the cavern.
Yes, sir. Now, about that gas.
How can you tattle on that way when the lives of hundreds of people are at stake? Now, here's where we blast out a tunnel.
Right, sir. We can use a disintegrator.
Yes, quickly.
Right, sir.
Hurry, Buck, hurry.
Buck, Doctor,
Yes, Wilma?
I guess I didn't clamp on my helmet right.
What?
Gas is seeping into this pressure suit.
Wilma.
I'm going to
Wilma.
keel over.
Wilma!
Good night. Now Wilma's life is in peril. They can't go back to her until they've cleared a tunnel that may save hundreds, and yet they don't go back to her. Well, now stand by and listen to a few words from your favorite announcer before we pick up our story again. Now, without wasting any time, we're going to pick up our story on the surface of the moon, just as Buck and Wilma discovered that they'd been tricked by Killer Kane and Ardela. Now, here we go, 500 years into the future.
Our rocket ship. It's gone.
That rocket blast knocked me over.
Here, get up quick. Kane and Ardela must have hidden behind some of these rocks out here. And they sneaked into our ship as soon as we left it.
But they've got Dr. Ewer aboard with them. We've got to go after them.
Right. And we'll use this ship of Kane's.
Well, go ahead. Get into it. Take the controls.
I said that a chase between these two equal ships was of no use. But this time there's nothing else to do. Here now. Close the metal door and we'll get underway.
still see our blue ship from the teleradioscope, Adela?
Yes, Kane. Buck and Wilma have just got into it.
So they can head right out here after us, of course. We'll wait until they take off their spacesuits to operate the controls.
What did you do?
Left a slow generating gas pot under the control suit. It'll poison them before they know what's happened to them.
Good work. Say, you must have hit Dr. Hewer pretty hard while he was getting out of his spacesuit. See, he's still out cold.
Then we won't need to worry about him for a while. As a matter of fact, from now on, he can do all the worrying.
How do you mean?
Hewer's next job will be to invent a new weapon. For me. And it will have to be something I can use to bring a whole planet to its knees in a single stroke.
Isn't that asking a lot, Kane?
For a man like you, huh?
No. What I'm thinking of is trying to persuade him to do it.
I have an idea that when I show him how much he can accomplish under my direction, he may be perfectly willing to play along with us.
All right. Now, where are we headed for?
Adela, we're going to Enceladus.
That's one of the moons of Saturn, isn't it?
Yes, it's one of the least known moons of Saturn. But I've decided that it will provide a good nucleus for the organization I will build up to carry out my plans.
Why pick Enceladus?
Because there we can work without any chance of being disturbed or interfered with.
That sounds logical.
Oh,
Wait, Hewer's coming too.
Buck, where are you? Wilma.
Shall I throw some water on his face?
No, let him come out of it in his own sweet way.
Killer Kane.
Hello, you are. How are you?
So, what have you done? Where are Buck and Wilma?
I'm sorry, Dr. Hewer,
Adela.
but I'm afraid it was necessary to leave them stranded down on the moon.
Stranded?
Well,
Yes, the power control on that blue ship down there is out of water.
Oh.
Now, how do you feel?
It could be expected under the circumstances. Do you really care?
You are. I'm a man of few words, so I'm going to speak bluntly.
Well,
you know what my plans for conquest of the solar system amount to. Or at least you ought to know by this time.
yes, Kane. I know your wise ideas only too well.
Now, wait a minute.
Yes.
Nobody realizes any more than I do your capabilities as a scientist. In short, with your cooperation, the conquest I desire will be easy. And if you seriously stop to think about it, you'll realize that working with me will not only give you more wealth than you've ever dreamed of, but a chance to make scientific progress such as you've never had before. The whole solar system will be your laboratory. You'll be the greatest scientist who ever lived.
Kane, I'm not the least bit interested in what you're saying.
Huh?
Nothing under heaven could ever persuade me to be a partner to your crime.
You are. Either you'll come along with me, or you'll die. As Rogers and Wilma have died.
What are you talking about?
You heard what I said.
But before you said... You only said that the ship you left them back there on the moon was disabled.
Of course, so you wouldn't feel any animosity toward me when I made my little proposition to you. You think I'm a fool. What good would disabling their ship do us? No, you are. Our little situation required somewhat more drastic measures.
What did you do?
Beneath your dear friend Buck's control suite is a small beaker of chemicals, which right now are generating a deadly gas.
Oh.
In other words, when he and Wilma take off their spacesuits to operate that ship, it will begin to have its effect on them. Not too quickly, either. So they'll have no warning until it's too late. Clever, huh?
You're not human.
Really? Thank you.
Kane, you're a monk.
Yes, you are. And I'll give you the same medicine if you try to cross me. Now use your head, you old fogey. You've got a decision to make. On the one hand, wealth, fame, and power. On the other, burial and outer space. Well, will you play along with me?
Never. Let me hit that radio, you know.
Sure.
I had to warn them.
Get away from the radio! Nice work with the paralysis ray, Adela. I congratulate you.
Thanks, Kane. Whether you'll admit it or not, Hewer was in a fair way of knocking you down.
I wouldn't say exactly that. But the old boy does pack more of a wallop than I gave him credit for. But it's the last one he'll ever throw.
But now listen.
Well?
We can't seem to spot it on the viewplate now. That's because we're out of range.
Enceladus?
No, the rocket ship we left on the moon. Just before you and Hewer started to scrap, I saw it take off. Maybe your little trick hasn't worked after all.
So soon? Of course not. Knowing Rogers, I know that he'd take off after us without waiting to remove his spacesuit. But he certainly wouldn't continue to fly with it on. Or Wilma either. And when they do remove them, he'll have nothing more to worry about.
You ask me, Wilma, that's the fastest takeoff we ever made. Now, let's get out of these spacesuits so we won't have to talk by radio.
Are we going in the same direction that came from?
Yeah. So spot his ship in the teleraadioscope as fast as you can.
Hard to tell what floats me, Ray. Oh, there it is.
Good. That's it. And we're going straight after it.
Thank goodness it's flying straight towards you.
Huh?
Notice how clouds of cosmic dust is disappearing with this on the viewplate?
Yeah. Too bad he got such a head start on us. But, Wilma, he's heading straight out toward Mars or Saturn. They happen to be in line with each other.
Now I can't see a ship at all. Not if he swings around out there very much, we're going to lose him, you know it?
Well, we don't need to. We can hook in the gas analyzer and automatically follow his rocket trail.
Great, I'll get it for you right away.
Get it for me?
Sure, out of this cabinet over here.
But it's right here on the control board. See these dials? There. Turn it on.
Then what's this unit here on this shelf?
Oh, that's just an auxiliary unit in case this one gets out of order. Leave it there.
Oh.
See? These dials register 3, 1.7, and 32.1. Seems rocket fail, all right. From now on, this ship will follow it automatically.
Good. But say, let's get out of this space.
Yeah, wet. Breathing condensed air gets tiresome.
Not exactly comfortable in the control cabin either. Unstep my...
But Roger in the 25th century. And the shower of silver dollars from Popsicle Keith's Money Box.
Well, sir, it looks at the moment as though Killer Kane and Ardela, the arch criminals, are one up on Buck and Wilma. To begin with, they succeeded in stealing Buck's super rocket ship and Dr. Hewer with it. Now they're flying at top speed through outer space toward one of the 10 moons of the planet Saturn. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles behind them, Buck and Wilma doggedly follow the criminals' rocket trail, determined to rescue Dr. Hewer at any cost. But now let's pick up our story in the rocket ship of Kane and Ardela. Here we go, 500 years into the future.
You are still under the influence of the paralysis ray, Ardela?
Yes, Kane. He's still out cold, back in the storage compartment.
Good. Now, we've left Mars far behind, and the moons of Saturn are dead ahead of us. From the minute we land on the one called Enceladus, we start building our organization.
Enceladus, huh?
Right. It's one of the least known moons of Saturn, so we'll be perfectly safe there.
If we aren't being followed out here
Nobody's seen us. How could we be?
by a rocket plane equipped with a gas analyzer.
All right, Ardela. I hadn't thought of it.
Well, it's about time you did.
Don't let it worry you. What?
Why'd you cut the power? What are you going to do?
Before cutting the power, I swung us wide from our course.
Huh? Hey, take it easy, will you?
Pipe down and hold tight to your control seat. By the time I'm through, there isn't a gas analyzer in existence that will be able to follow the trail of this ship.
Hey, let me know when you're going to do that, will you?
This is something that even your dear departed friend Rogers wouldn't have thought of.
The rocket trail still leads in the direction of Mars and Saturn, Buck.
Yeah. 2 more hours of flying at this speed, and we should be able to spot his ship in the teleraadioscope.
I'll try another look on the viewplate now.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, how about it?
Oh, I guess we're just not close enough yet. Yes, there's too much cosmic dust in the way.
Well, don't worry about it. As long as this rocket trail holds out, there's nothing... Wilma,
What's the matter, Buck?
the rocket trail is stopped.
But we've got to keep on Killer Kane's...
Now look.
What?
Now the dials register again.
Well,
Sure, it can mean only one thing. Kane has deliberately swerved his ship around to make a crooked trail. Listen to our motors as we follow it.
doesn't make very comfortable flying.
No, it doesn't. Now look. The trail is gone completely.
Can't you pick it up again?
I'm afraid not, Wilma. This is one of Kane's old tricks, and believe me, a clever one. Out here, where there's no air friction, his momentum is enough to carry him literally thousands of miles between short bursts of power. Maybe hundreds of thousands of miles.
checking out Houston.
Yes, Kane?
While you were giving your another dose of the paralysis ray, I contacted the King of Enceladus, Barry.
Good.
His name is Correx, and I told him that we are Rogers and Wilmer.
No.
That we're coming to see him on important official business.
Did Corax ever know Buck and Wilmer?
He's heard about them, but never seen them.
Marvelous.
Now, we'll land at his capital in a few minutes. On the private landing platform atop his palace.
Oh, the king has been impressed with our importance even before he's seen us.
Exactly. Thinking that we're Rogers and Wilmer, he's all ready to eat right out of our hands.
Kane, I hand it to you. You certainly have a pretty little way of pulling the wool over people's eyes and making them like it.
Forget it. Are you sure you gave your enough of the paralysis ray to keep him out of trouble?
He's saturated with it. Can't even wiggle his ears.
Good. Now, see? There's the capital right below us. I'll cut the power and coast for landing.
Somebody down there waiting for us on that platform.
Yes, it must be King Korak. Hang on now. Now, don't forget, I'm Rogers and you're Wilmer.
Okay, let's get out.
Welcome. Welcome to Enceladus, the most progressive moon of Saturn, Captain Rogers.
How are you, Korak? Meet her. Lieutenant Wilmer Derrick.
Oh, beauty.
How do you do, Your Majesty?
I am honored in having you here. Yes, sir, honored.
Well, let's not waste time with formalities, Korak. Where can we talk?
Why, right through this door here in my private study. Lieutenant?
Thank you.
Here we can be as comfortable and undisturbed.
Fine. This will make good headquarters for the work we'll have to do while we're here.
Oh, while I think of it, Captain.
Well?
I understand that when you and Lieutenant Wilmer visited the moons of Saturn before, you brought along a gentleman who was a very wonderful scientist. The man who developed the system of government under which our moons now function.
Oh, he means Dr. Hewer.
Yes, that's it, Dr. Hewer. Where is he now?
Why, he came with us.
Oh, yes?
But on the way, he developed a strange illness that has, shall we say, rendered him totally unconscious.
How terrible.
Right now, he is in our rocket plane, so I don't want anyone to go near it. You must have complete and undisturbed rest.
Well, isn't there something we can do for him?
Nothing, Korak, except leave him entirely alone.
Whatever you say, I'm sure you know what is best for him.
Right. Now, let's get down to business. Yes.
Yes, Captain Rogers.
Huh? Yes. Now, Ardell, Lieutenant Wilmer and I are here as delegates of the Interplanetary Council of Science.
Yes.
Our scientists have discovered that a large unexplored planet far out of the solar system is planning to invade all the others with which we've established contact.
Oh.
In any event, Korak, our job is to organize a space fleet that will be the most powerful ever assembled.
Of course, I can see that.
And we must have an army composed of every able man on every moon of Saturn. That army will be under my leadership, of course.
Of course. And, Captain, I shall waste no time in informing the kings of the other Saturnian moons that you are here and that they are to take all orders from you.
And you believe they'll cooperate?
Oh, no question about it, none. Everybody knows what you and Lieutenant Wilmer and Dr. Hewer did for us when you were here before.
Fine. Now, when you inform the kings of the magnificent project we're about to undertake, tell them they must immediately effect censorship of all interplanetary news channels.
Why is that, Captain?
Correct. No one outside of the Council and the people of the Saturnian moons know what is going on.
What?
Why, on the other planets, it would cause nothing short of panic.
Oh, I see.
Now, before going any further, I want it understood that you are to be my official representative.
Oh, well, that is an honor I'm afraid I don't deserve.
Don't be so modest, Correct.
Well, thank you.
You will receive any and all delegates from the other moons that are involved in our plans. It will save me a great deal of time.
I shall serve you to the best of my ability. And if you'll pardon me, I think I'll contact the other kings right away.
Fine. As long as this is going to be our headquarters, we'll stay right here.
Oh, certainly, by all means.
Well, I'm glad that part of the job is over.
It certainly swallowed everything you said, Kane.
Call me Buck.
Okay. You know, Buck and Wilma apparently rated pretty high with these folks. They're willing to do anything you say.
Well, compared to us people, these folks are all a bunch of weaklings. Shout at them once or twice, and they'll do anything you say.
Well, why did you want Korak so arranged so you wouldn't have to receive the other kings? I should think you'd want to talk to them personally.
Some of them might remember our faces from our previous visit. Then we'd be in hot water.
Okay. Now, what's the next step?
We're going to put these people to work building spaceships.
I see.
With all the manpower that's available, it should be only a matter of days before we'll have a powerful enough space fleet to face anybody in the solar system who might try to make trouble.
Calling Black Barney. Buck Rogers calling Black Barney.
If you land on Mars, didn't you get him enough, huh?
But if we don't have to land, it'll save us a lot of space travel.
Let's see.
Calling Black Barney.
Hello, Captain Rogers. How are you?
Hello, Barney.
Why, I haven't heard from you since we got back from exploring under the earth. But I understand you're looking for Killer Kane in our daylight.
Right. Have you seen any sign of him?
Yes, sir. And I don't think you better waste any time if you want to catch him.
You know where they are?
Well, Captain, with them crooks on the loose, the minute I got back here to Mars, I got everything all organized out and fixed up a fleet of space patrol.
Yes.
And just yesterday, one of the pilots seen a strange super rocket ship flying out towards a little plasteroid.
Oh, you mean the planetoid?
Yeah, plasteroid. It lays about 14 points west of here in the same orbit as Mars has.
Good.
With this teleradioscope in sharp focus, he could see that with Killer Kane heading right towards Saturn.
Great. So you sent patrol ships after us.
Captain, I was sort of afraid that...
What? You mean you let him get away?
Well, Captain, in getting things all organized out in such a hurry, I forgot to equip any of my patrol ships with rocket guns or anything.
Well, poor old Barney. But at least our friends are on the trail again. So sit tight for a few words from your favorite announcer, and then we'll pick up our story.
You've been listening to the GSMC Classics series, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Follow us at www.gsmcpodcast.com and find all of our timeless programming by typing GSMC Classics into any podcast app, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and more. Remember to subscribe to the GSMC Classics series podcasts of your choice to stay up to date on new episodes. And if you could take a minute to give us a nice review, that really helps us to get this ageless programming out to others who would enjoy it just as much as you have. Check out all of our GSMC Classics series podcasts. Whether you're in the mood for comedy, romance, adventure, history, science fiction, horror, or anything in between, the GSMC Classics series has you covered. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program on the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network.